I'm gonna share with you about the one single question: why do we need GSA in FDD? So hopefully you are familiar with FDD, the financial due diligence, by now, and then we need to top up GSA on top of the FDD. Okay, so I'm going to list, there are many things going on, but I will list the key, some examples here, and then you see why, in order to support the answers to what or why we need to add GSA on top of the FDD, right? So the first thing is just the risky customer, and then I show you here. Okay, so this one is the normally, if you have an outlet or a shopping center, and then you will care about the nearby customer who are very who shop or who use your service every day. They are very loyal, but then the one far away, so for example those guys here, they are okay, but then the one far away, they will they will not uh, go to your shop every day because of the distance, and also if some competitor open nearby, and then they will choose the competitor instead of you, right? So these will be risky customers, and then how can you identify them is the next question, right? So the first thing that you need to, if you open a shop here, you need a building address or a couple of numbers, which is latitude and longitude, in order to identify this place. And then you also have the building addresses of the customer as well. And then eventually you have to turn those building addresses into the lat long numbers in order to compute. If you use the mathematical function, they won't work with building addresses. They won't work with the text, and then eventually you have to convert into the numbers. Okay, so after you have all the numbers or all the identifiers, then you just measure the distance in from. Okay, so let me show you the circle so that you can, because distance, a circle is also can be used to present near and far, right? So for example, this guy is very near. These two a little bit far away, and then those guys are very far away. Okay, so in the same circle, then we have the same distance, traveling distance, right? So I think that's it for the risky customer. The point is just to identify the customer in numbers, in latitude and longitude, and then to compute the distance between from their point to our service center. And then if they are very far away, then you have to identify them, or you have to list them, and you have to take care of them in different ways. So maybe if in terms of evaluation, you have to maybe discount those guys because they supposed not to be in the equations. Okay, so the second one would be to validate or to understand or to measure the ghost assets by the GSA. So by assets here, I mean outlets or schools or facilities or any buildings that you build or you lease or you open there. So normally the popular one, the popular asset, is they're good. You like those guys because a lot of people surrounding, and then you can have a lot of revenues. But then the other one, which is like only have few of them, and then you have to check why this is the case. So from the buyer point of view, you have to check like, hey, how come the target opening here, do they what did they do? Is this like because they have a wrong this decision, or they haven't done the homework before opening? That's why they end up with like a ghost asset in this place. Okay, so this one is another exercise for GSA, the geospatial analytics, because um, you also need the location of the asset or the outlet, and then you also need some customer address as well. So for this case, actually, you don't need a customer address. So let me compare. Let me compare this. For this one, you need a building address of the customer in order to check who is near or who is far. But then in this case, you don't have to because you have the public places. So for example, if you open a bookshop here and then those are schools and you know that actually those are potential customer already, or you open uh, a kindergarten here and then you have a lot of residential buildings nearby and then you have a lot of customer already. So these customer is these buildings or these facilities you can find on the internet as well, you know, on the like Google map or some map around you as well. You don't have to look into the customer building address in order to find those guys. Okay, so and if you in some places like this and then if you see like not a lot of building, not a lot of the customer pool nearby, and then you have to ask the seller of the asset like how come you open like this? Is there any reason behind it? Is it because you didn't do homework, or is it because you want to prepare for the future? Because this building or this place is under government allocation already, and you want to like secure the place, and then later when the customer come in you can operate already. Okay, the next one will be this one is more like network um, design or like management, in the sense that there are two things to note here. The first thing is like if these guys are your network, so in the same brand or your you have one store here, one store here, one store here. So the question is like why do you have to open many stores like this next to each other? Because those guys in the middle, they actually can go to either store, and then they maybe you need to move the store a little bit far away, and then you can you don't have to maintain a lot of stores or outlets, and then you still have the same number of customer. So the catchment area is the same, but then you don't need many store. But then there are other way as well, meaning that these are your stores, but then this guy, the competitor, they just open in the middle of your two store, and then they catch all the customer nearby. So this one, these two, they are actually the same in terms of computational method, because eventually you need to compute the overlapping region between the stores. But then in terms of control, you don't have control over the second case. So if the first case, all the stores are yours and you have the full control, and you can choose to remove or to add more store, so you have full control over those guys. But if this one is the competitors, you don't have any control over this store, and then eventually you have to start a price war in order to get rid of the this guy. So you lower the price in the region, or you add more discount in this region, and then eventually the competitor cannot compete with your lower price, and they have to move away. Okay, so these are the two different. So in terms of technical, they are the same, but in terms of like business acumen, then they will be different. You need to take different actions in order to deal with the same overlapping regions. Okay. The next thing would be this one is very very typical for the rent row analysis or the rental target. So if assuming that you want to buy a rental company, and then they have a lot of tenants. Okay, so for example, Google is one of the tenants. Okay, so normally for the big guys, big players in the market, for Google, Facebook, EY, KPMG, they will put themselves on the internet. They confirm they will display themselves on the internet in order to get customer, and then also to brand themselves in the digital space as well. So that's what they do. But then if in the rent row you see a very big customer, a lot of revenue like 1 million a year, but then you don't see them appear on the internet, and then the next question you have to ask the target managers if what's wrong with these guys, and then they have no control over the appearance of the tenants, because they cannot like actually they can design the theme to fix those addresses, but that eventually eventually they won't they will not they will not complete the whole things like the actual company, for example the opening hours, and then the everything else in the in the Google Map, and then they cannot populate the whole thing. So basically it will be expensive for them to fix those guys as well. Okay, so you have to check. So this one is very specific to FDD. And then the last one will be the access of the accessibility of the company. So if you I just type 7-Eleven in here and then check, because normally when I want to find the I'm in somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and I want to find the nearest 7-Eleven, and then I want to look into one, into go there, and then when I type the names, you have to display all of those guys. Okay, so the first thing is that if you don't appear on the internet, for example, as 7-Eleven, even they have the physical store here, but then they don't appear on the internet, and I cannot find, and maybe eventually I have to go to very far away in order to access to in order to buy something from 7-Eleven, right? So same thing, if you appear in the same name like this, it will be a little bit confusing for drivers and then for the customer as well, because well you can argue that you look into the text here in order to identify the guys, but normally you're supposed to provide more hints in here, just in order for people to find the outlet, instead of like the same name everywhere like this, and then it doesn't help customer. So this is the case of like bad naming, and then you're supposed to name your outlet uniquely for people to find out. Otherwise, of course there is another way. It's just to sort by the distance, but you're not so sure this view this view work with the distance or by anything, because it can appear with the other search criteria as well, right? So you don't know this display list, what is the sorting order for this display list. Okay, so that's why you need to be more specific about the naming. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's all about how some example actually, but then you know that GSA is an important tool. I don't go to the computational method for GSA for this. I just want to answer the question why we need to put this one in the FDD, and just in case if you want to work with us, just contact us on geospatial analytics, financial due diligence, and also commercial due diligence as well. If you need help, like another professional team to provide you different perspective on the target companies, and also the computational power also for your team in order to make decisions.